are recording. Good morning again. Let's take a comfortable seat to begin with a few minutes of centering and breath awareness. Get yourself situated on your mat. Once you're there, just feel the hands rest in your lap. Notice the sensation of that contact. And let your arms just melt into that. Feel a downward energy that begins at the shoulders and travels all the way down into the hands. And gently close your eyes if you haven't already. And just keep your attention on that sensation for another moment. And then begin to scan through your body. Bring awareness to the top of the head and gradually working your way down through every part of yourself. Noticing the physical energy that you are carrying with you today. Acknowledging if there is any resistance in the body to the shape of this seated pose. And seeing if you can't soften or release a little bit if you do notice that. Then start to bring your attention to the sensation of your hips against the ground. And just notice if there's more energy in the right side of the hips or the left, or toward the front of the pelvis or more toward the back. And if so, just subtly shift your center of gravity so that the sensation of that contact feels really even through both sides and allows your spine to feel centered right over the back of the hips. And then begin to visualize your spinal column. Try and see an image of all the curvatures in the spine, from the tip of the tailbone to the sacrum, through the low back, up to the middle back, and into the neck. Try and visualize those curvatures present inside of your body right now. And from your waist down to your hips, let there be a grounding downward energy that really connects you to the floor. And from the waist up and out the crown of the head, let there be an active upward energy that lifts your spine, elevates the rib cage and opens the chest so that you can breathe fully and deeply. before we start moving, let your attention now go to the sound and sensation of your breath. Just watch the body expand and contract. Begin to slow down your breath and breathe more deeply so that we get more air into the lungs and a greater expansion every time you inhale. And exhaling completely, the full contraction every time you exhale. Keep that breath nice and steady. You can float your eyes open and unfold the legs here. Extend your legs out in front of you. Lean your hands behind your back to support on your palms and just point your toes to flex the front of the ankles and squeeze your shoulder blades together. On an inhalation, lift your ribcage and chest up higher toward the ceiling, arching your upper back. Breathing deeply into that open space on the front of the body. One more inhalation. And exhale, release. Bend your knees and lean forward. Space your feet as wide as your mat and hold onto your ankles or shins. Inhale and lift up tall. Exhale, tuck your chin and fold through the legs, rounding your back into tortoise pose. Let your head drop so the neck gets long. And take a few deep breaths here, feeling your waist and backside expand. On an inhalation, roll yourself up. Let's keep the feet as they are. Lean your hands behind you again and drop the knees back and forth from side to side. If you're sitting up on some support, you might actually want to remove it and get rid of my blanket. So windshield wipers with the knees. And then the next time your knees go to the left, let them stay down there and twist to the back of your mat, coming off of your right hand. Placing both palms down behind you, about shoulder width apart, and pushing against the ground to twist deeply from your navel up your spine. One more inhalation. And exhale, unwind. Take the right hand behind you, lift the knees, and drop them to the right. Come off of your left hand and twist to the other direction. Pushing down against the ground. Nice deep rotation. One more breath in. And exhale, unwind. Good, let's come into table pose on the hands and knees. And we're gonna take some side bending. So on an exhalation breath, you're going to squeeze your right shoulder toward your right hip, stretching through the left side. And on an inhalation, take it back to center. Exhale the left shoulder to the left hip. Make as much of a side bend as you can. And then inhale back to center. Do that a few more times for each side. Really feel how strong exhaling can help you contract in the side of the waist. One more to each side. And then back to the center. Good. Walk your arms forward. Keep your hips in line over the knees and take half down dog, extending the shoulders and upper back. On an inhalation, return to table. And then step your right knee in between, or right foot rather, in between the hands for a low lunge. Slide your left knee a little farther back. Point those toes and inhale, rise up to your balance. Low crescent lunge. On your next breath out, touch the left hand down again and twist, rotating from your waist, reaching the right arm up still. Exhale the right hand to the floor. Lift your back knee off of the ground now for a high lunge. So tuck the toes, get strong through the back side of the leg. Inhale, rise up again, high crescent lunge. Keep lifting that back knee. Try and get a little lower in the front knee if you can. And then same twist. Exhale the left hand to the floor, rotate from the waist. Active energy through the right arm. Look down, exhale the right hand to the mat. Step back for plank pose. Bring the feet and legs together. Line your shoulders over the palms. Take 5 steady breaths. One more breath in. And exhale, lower down to the ground. Point your toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up to the knees. Exhale, back and lift to downward facing dog. Separate your feet a little bit and keep your knees pretty well bent initially. So more bend than you even typically would. And keep your left knee really bent. Now try to gently straighten the right leg. Stopping if the hamstring really resists. Just working some length into the right side. Good, bend the right knee deeply again. Keep that leg bent. And now slowly try to straighten the left leg a little more, stretching through the back side, the hamstrings, the calves. Good, and bend that knee again, and then lower the knees back down to table. Good, step your left foot forward now, low lunge. Slide your right knee back, point the toes. On an inhalation, rise up to balancing crescent lunge. Just feel your breath moving in and out. With an exhalation, put the right hand down and take your twist. Continue to reach up with the left arm. Feel how strong exhaling can help you twist a little more, even if it's really subtle in your body. On an exhalation, put the left hand down, tuck your back toes under, and lift that knee off of the ground now. High lunge. Getting active in the front side of the leg. Inhale, rise up again, finding balance. Feel that opposing energy upward through the back knee, but down and forward through your front knee. Again, with an exhalation, twist, right hand down, rotate from your waist, raising the left arm up. One more breath in, and exhale that hand to the mat. Good, step back again to find plank pose. Nice, strong breath here. Energy in the legs, the glutes, the low back and core. One more breath in, and exhale, lower to the ground. Point your toes, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up. Exhale, back and lift to down dog. Good. If you want to kind of actively pedal the legs, go back and forth between bending one knee and straightening the opposite side. bring a little bit of movement now to help wake up the hamstrings. And then eventually let that settle. Look forward at your hands and inhale. As you exhale, step to the front of your mat. Hang over your legs here in a forward bend. Let your neck release. If you want, you can hold onto your elbows, or you could hold the back of your ankles or heels. Try and bring your upper body in connection with your lower body. On an inhalation breath, we're going to come up to stand. Come through flat back. Really feel that in your spine, and then rise all the way up. Exhale, arms to your sides. Good. Make sure you're at the front of your mat. We'll take a few rounds of sun salutations. On an inhalation, begin by reaching up. Exhale and fold over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra pose. Exhale, make your way to down dog. And settle into the pose. One more breath in, look forward, and exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up and reach over your head. Exhale, release the arms. Second round, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. One breath in, exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Stay here and breathe. Check that your neck is relaxed. One more inhalation, look forward. Exhale, feet to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Once more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Stay here and breathe. One more inhalation, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. So we're going to come into one round of Sun Series B. So beginning with chair pose. On inhalation, sit back. Extend your arms. Exhale and dive over your legs to your forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank. One breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, raise your right leg up. Take a breath in. Use your exhalation to lunge that foot in between your hands. Good. Ground your back heel for warrior one and then rise up. Reaching the arms over the shoulders. Deep bend in the front knee. Lots of lift in your back knee. The next time you exhale, bring the hands down. Two options, you can either go to down dog or step back to plank. If you're in plank, inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, raise your left leg up. Inhale, use your exhalation to lunge forward. Ground your back heel to the floor. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. With your next breath out, bring the hands down. Same options. You can go to down dog or step to plank. If you're in plank, on an exhalation, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take about 5 breaths here. You can always rest in child's pose if you like. On an inhalation, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Bend your knees deeply and sit way back. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand and release your arms. Good, let's come into pyramid pose. So deep hamstring stretch, and if you want to use blocks for this, I recommend that. If the hamstrings are a little tight, you can put blocks at the front of your mat here. So we're going to stand with the feet hip width apart. Step your left foot back about half the distance of your mat and make sure that the heel can firmly touch the floor in the back leg. Your hips and upper body face forward completely. So that means your back foot also needs to face forward. So find your balance here and get strong and steady in your legs. Bring your hands to your waist and glide your shoulders back. And just feel how that opens your chest and your heart space. On an exhalation, you're going to lean your upper body forward. Feel your pelvis rotate as the hip joints go back toward the end of your mat. Good. Keep your spine nice and straight initially. Bring your hands to the blocks underneath your shoulders if you're using them. If you don't have blocks, you can just keep your hands at the waist. Just requires a little bit more active energy from your low back and core if you don't use blocks underneath you. You're welcome to stay here in the flat back position, especially if this right hamstring stretch is already deep enough for you. If you want to try folding forward, you're going to let your upper body come down toward the front leg. So round your spine now, let your head drop, and you may find that the blocks can go lower here, or maybe the hands touch the floor comfortably. Regardless, keep that strong energy in both legs. You're squeezing the thighs, rooting through the feet. If you are in the folded position, return to the flat back position. Let's all bring the hands to the waist and then rise up. Bend your front knee and step forward. Relax the arms for a moment. Just stand in mountain pose. See if you can notice the difference in the right side of the body compared to the left. Slow down your breathing again. And then when you're ready to switch, we're going to keep that hip width distance between the feet, but just step the right foot back about half the distance of the mat. Find your balance. Make sure that heel can touch the floor. If it's lifting up in the air, you may have stepped too far back. Good. Squeeze every muscle in your legs. Hands to the waist again. And just open the chest. Elbows back. Good. We're going to lean the upper body forward. Feel your whole pelvis rotate forward with you. But the spine stays nice and straight here at first. Finding our flat back version of pyramid pose. If you have blocks available, bring the hands down to them under your shoulders. Good, and just work on holding this straight spine for a few more breaths. And you can keep this version of the pose, or if you're folding forward, exhale and try and really unite the upper body to the lower body. Rib cage goes toward the thigh as you drop the head. You can lower the blocks, or if the hands come to the ground easily, just put them down. Keep pressing through both feet, squeezing the thighs. If you're in the fold, come back to your flat back position. Lengthen your spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Then we'll all return the hands to the waist and rise up. Good, bend your front knee and step forward. Release your arms by your sides and just stand actively mountain pose for a few breaths. Ground equally through both of your feet. And then on an inhalation, reach the arms up over your shoulders. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. If you have blocks on your mat, you can move them off to the side from here. On an inhalation, come to the flat back position. Exhale, step to plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra pose. Exhale, make your way to down dog. From this down dog, walk your feet maybe 2 inches closer to the hands than you typically would take them, and then raise your right leg up slowly for a 3-legged dog with nice square hips. Few more breaths. Try and press equally through both hands. Exhale and step that foot down. Other side, slowly raise your left leg up, keeping the pelvis level. And exhale, return that foot to the floor. Step your legs back to where you normally take them in down dog. Good, bring the feet and legs together now and shift forward to plank pose. We're gonna work on side plank. So bring your left hand just slightly closer to your right hand. Slowly come to the outside edge of your left foot. And now I'm just on the fingertips of my right hand, just getting ready to lift this arm up. If you can, slowly open the upper body and raise the right arm. If you'd like a variation of this pose, you can always step your top leg over the bottom leg, or you could come out and put your bottom knee on the ground and straighten your top leg and open this way. And so lots of options available to you. If the wrist just doesn't like this pose, or the shoulder or upper back doesn't feel quite supported enough, you can use your legs to assist. Good, if you haven't come out yet, release your right hand to the floor, rotate the hips to face down in plank again, separate your hands and come back to down dog, or rest with the knees down, or you can take table pose or full child's pose. When you're ready for the right side, return to plank. Bring your right hand just a little closer to your left, and then come to the outside edge of the right foot. Slowly open the upper body and raise the left arm. Or take one of those two other variants of the pose. If you're still here, look down, release your left hand, return to plank, space the palms out, and lift to down dog again. Let your head and neck release. And then let's all bring the knees to the ground. Just take a few breaths in child's pose. Sit back on your heels. Let your shoulders and your arms relax, and close the eyes. Try and slow down the speed of your breath. And then we're going to lift up and just sit back on the heels for a moment. If this is not a comfortable way for you to sit with your knees, then take a regular seat. You can elevate the hips too if you like. You just want to take a little shoulder opening. Reach your hands behind your back and interlace the fingers, or use a strap to connect your hands. Roll your shoulders back and gently straighten the arms behind you. First, reaching the fists down toward the ground. Stay really upright and make sure that your head is in line over the rest of your spine. Sometimes when we work on chest opening, we can bring the head forward without realizing it, and that creates tension in the back of the neck. So just draw the chin in if you feel that. Make sure you can move your head easily. And then if this feels really comfortable, try lifting the arms up away from your hips without changing the rest of your posture. Doesn't matter how far you can go with that. Pay attention to how it feels in your body, especially the front of the shoulder. And then exhale and release that. Let the arms relax. You can put the hands in the lap for a moment. Just roll the shoulders a few times. Good, and then we're going to come up to a kneeling position and work on camel pose, a nice back bending posture. I have a really thick mat, but if your mat is thin or your knees are feeling this pressure, then fold your mat over itself once or twice, or put a blanket down to pad your knees, all right? So we're going to start with the toes tucked under, heels lifting. You may or may not go for your heels today, but if you do, having them higher away from the floor is more helpful. So take your thumbs together at your sacrum, find that flat bone, the back of your hips, and squeeze your shoulders together, open your chest. Squeeze your glutes to tuck your tailbone down so that you're straightening the arch of your low back a little bit. And then gently press your hips forward while you lean your shoulders and elbows back. So just little by little. And as we're really stretching the front of the abdomen here, you're going to feel that in your breath. It'll feel more challenging to expand, but make sure you don't end up holding the breath as a reaction. Good, let's lift the sternum up, straightening the spine, coming out of the back bend, and sit back on your heels for a moment, or you can stay upright if this doesn't feel like a rest, but just let your shoulders and arms relax for a moment. So we're going to take that one more time, and this time attempt to reach for the heels if that works for you. If you get one heel comfortably but not the other, then just stay there with the one side. You can reach the opposite arm up toward the ceiling and then kind of switch on your own if you're doing that, okay? So when you're ready, let's find that kneeling posture again. Thumbs are going to meet at your sacrum, fingers span out the side of your hips. Squeeze the shoulders together. Squeeze your glutes to tuck your tailbone down, and gently press your pelvis forward as you lean your shoulders and elbows back. So keep that pelvis right in line over the knees. Deep, deep breath. And then just see how it feels to let one arm dangle down, and if the heel how it feels to let the other arm dangle down. Right, so do one arm at a time if you cannot easily take the other heel. If you've got both, re-energize that shoulder blade action. Squeeze them together. Make sure you're breathing. We're trying to lift the ribcage up toward the ceiling. If your hands are at your heels, bring one back to the hips and then the other, and then lift from the sternum, slowly straighten your back, and sit down on the heels for a moment. Good. We're going to take a side child's pose. I'm just going to move my blocks out of the way. So from this sitting position, lean your upper body forward and touch your hands to the ground, and then walk them over to the right side of your mat, slowly creating a side bend. And then gradually drop your upper body down toward the ground. Nice and easy here. And exaggerate your inhalation. Really expand through your waist, through your low back. Use the breath to help bring space back into that area we were just contracting, so the lower and middle back. Good. Let's slowly lift up and walk the hands back to the center and then over to the left side, creating a C curvature in your spine, and then gradually lower down, side child's pose. Good, go ahead and return to the center. Come on up into table pose. Walk your knees back a little bit. Spread your fingers widely and plant the palms for down dog, and just slowly press your hips back and lift them up. And find as much length through your lower and middle back as you can. From here, we're going to walk the hands back to the feet, ending up in a forward fold at the back of the mat. And the goal of this forward fold is to really lengthen the spine and not stretch the hamstrings so much. We've already done that. So if you want to bend the knees or need to bend the knees to get close, go ahead and do that. I want you to really try and get your upper body to touch the legs. And that might mean a lot of bending if there's hamstring tightness. Hold the back of your ankles or your calves with your hands and your forearms, just really wrapping the upper body and lower body together. Good. From here, let go of the back of the legs, look forward and walk it back to down dog. From this down dog, we're going to come into pigeon pose. If you normally use a support outside of your hip, you might want to come down and bring that onto the right side of your mat so you can have it ready. We'll raise the right leg up first, look forward, bring the knee to your chest, and then place the knee in between the hands. Slide your left leg back. Open your right knee to about a 2 o'clock angle and place support there if you're using it. And then slowly fold forward. Coming down any amount that feels good to you this morning. And closing your eyes once you're there. Focus on that deep, low belly breathing. Actively expanding and actively getting rid of all that air from the lungs, contracting through the abdominal wall. Expand and contract. If you are ready to come out, open your eyes, walk your hands back in toward your front leg to lift up. And then when you're ready, come back to down dog. Drag your back knee in and then press up and back. Pedal the legs a little bit, rocking your hips side to side as you do that, helping to release the right side. When you're ready for the left leg, we'll reach it up into the air. Look forward, bring the knee to your chest, and then place the knee in between your hands. Slide your right leg back. Open your left knee out to a 10 o'clock angle if you can, and then come forward when you're ready. If you're using support, make sure you put it underneath your right, or your left rather, hip or glute. If you're ready to come out of the pose, open your eyes and lift yourself up, walk the hands in. And for the last time, return to downward facing dog. Walk your back knee in and then press against the hands, lifting back. Pedal the legs a few times, releasing the energy from the left side. And then let's bring the knees down. And I'm going to have you come to your back, and if you've got those blocks, I'm going to have you bring them to the side of your mat so that we can use them in a moment for supported bridge pose. So once you are on your back, I'm going to have you just pause here for a moment. You can bend your knees, plant your feet under your knees, and just let your spine settle into the floor. So we're going to do this supported bridge, not so much for a back bend. We already did a really deep one with camel pose, but more as a psoas release. So you can use one or two blocks. I have two that I stack on top of each other on the low position, but I also have a pretty long torso, so this height feels good for me. This might not feel good for you, and you might rather just want to do this with one. So see what combination works for you. And then you're going to lift your hips up just enough to slide the blocks in place underneath your sacrum and the back of the pelvis, not in the arch of your low back. That will not feel good on your spine or your vertebral discs. Once you have that support in place, then just find a comfortable place for your arms to rest. That might be down, that might be more out to the side or slightly above you. Most important is that your shoulder blades feel firmly connected to the floor. So there's not a lot of upper back bending happening. Slightly elevated maybe, especially if you have two blocks, but we're not really trying to go for active arching in the spine. And so just start to feel a heaviness through your pelvis. Really let it sink into the support. And try and relax the muscles in your legs. The knees are bent so your hamstrings are in their shorter position, but try not to squeeze them or contract them actively. Let them be as soft as possible here. And then if you like, we're going to slide one leg forward and let it just relax out in front of you. Totally loose. It may kind of turn to the side a little, that's fine. And that's going to give you a really nice stretch through the psoas, which can be really tight, especially if you sit a lot, which I definitely do these days teaching on Zoom. I try and stand as much as I can, but I'm definitely sitting more, and that just brings the psoas into a contracted position. You can use an exaggerated breath to help with this psoas lengthening. Really deep low belly inhalations. Pull a little bit on the attachment of the muscle. And then really energetic, full exhalations. Kind of hollow out that area and give a little pull on the lower part of the muscle. You can go ahead and switch legs if you like. Just drag that one back in so your foot is on the floor and slide the other leg out in front of you, letting it be in a total state of rest, no active energy. And when you're ready, just drag that leg back in, placing the foot on the floor. Both knees are bent again. Bring your arms down, press against your feet a little bit to lift your hips up off the blocks. Reach underneath you to move them aside and lower your hips back down to the floor. Once your hips touch the ground, let's spread the feet about as wide apart as the mat and slowly windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Just take your time, bring some movement into the low back, letting your pelvis really rock side to side with this. And then bring your knees up and walk the feet together. And then hug the knees into your upper body, wrapping the arms around your legs. Take your time to let the legs come close to you. You may not get there right away, so we want to just gradually let the low back lengthen. And then start to rock on your back. So letting the body shift right and left, massaging the muscles on either side of the spine. You can take some forward and backward rocking if you want to bring some momentum and do some of those spinal rocks. I really like that. Keep your chin tucked if you do that so your neck is protected. Good. And then eventually let that rocking motion stop. We're going to take happy baby pose. Spread the knees and thighs wider apart than your upper body. And if you can, lift your feet and hold on to the outer feet or outer ankles. If that doesn't work in your body or it causes your legs to go back together, then just keep the feet down and hold your shins here like this instead. So you do want to keep the thighs wide, right? It's an open hip pose. Nice release for the low back. You can do rocking motion here too in happy baby. Whatever feels good to you right now to help give yourself that final release. And then release the feet, place them back on the floor. We're just going to take an easy spinal twist. Open your arms out to the side. Shift your hips over to the right just a little bit, and then drop both knees over to the left together. You can close your eyes if you like. Take at least 5 breaths here, letting the legs feel really heavy, letting go of any holding in the thigh muscles or the calves. When you're ready to release, gently bring the knees up. Press against your feet to shift your hips over to the left side of your mat a little bit now. And then drop your knees together to the right. Couple deep breaths here. When you're ready to release, gently unwind your twist. Press against your feet to adjust your hips so they feel centered below your shoulders. Just take a moment here to relax your back. And then when you're ready, get comfortable for Shavasana, final relaxation. If there's any props that you want to use to support your body, go ahead and gather what you need to be comfortable. I'm gonna grab myself a blanket to keep warm. Once you feel settled, gently close your eyes. Take a moment just to briefly scan through your body. And if you observe any lingering active energy, just keep your awareness in that place until it gradually softens and melts toward the floor. Take one final deep breath in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. And with that gesture, let your jaw release, feel your throat and tongue relax, and let go of the deep breathing awareness. your attention back to the surface and lengthen your breath. In your own time, begin to move a little bit through your fingers and toes, gently waking up your body.